there are lots of ways of telling stories, and this particular pendulum, let's call it for a second, in which the Arctic is melting, it's not a pendulum that swings back. Like a lot of people think, well, eventually, if it swings this way, it will swing back this way. Ice doesn't automatically refreeze. And so I think we have to imagine different ways to describe the ends of things. If we can imagine the world before us, without us, we will be able to imagine the world again without us. And I think that, not to be so dark, but we're not going to be here forever, probably. We will be part of the cycle that is it goes extinct and then comes back and then goes extinct again, and the ones that, and as we look back into the deep past, we understand how those cycles work. They're cycles. And so, of course, our stories always have kind of good endings or goodish endings, like we move on. So the story of extinction is something that is too traumatic for people to understand. For example, I'm somebody who tells stories to other people, or if not to that, to somehow speak to the future. If there is nothing in the future, nobody there, who am I talking to? What is this about? Now, I am a student of Buddhism, so I asked my teacher, I said, okay, how does karma work then? If there's no one to pass karma, let's say everything goes way off the rails, like it might do, and humankind is wiped off the earth. What happens with karma? Who then takes on the karma of people before them? Where does that energy go? And he said, well, that's why the Buddha talked about other universes. I was like, oh, I see, we're not limited to geographical place. We don't have to hang around Earth. You go off into other universes. I mean, what is energy and how does it work? So we have to, I think, as humans, begin to think of other ways to understand time and understand our place in time, and that perhaps we are part of this cycle, perhaps, and perhaps we'll get absorbed into that cycle again, and that's not the worst thing that will have ever happened in the universe. It doesn't mean that I expect that. It also means that I want to do my best to be here for every minute, and to do what I can to slow this situation. I'm not, even though I'm like a tech person, I do not think technology is going to come in and save us at all. I don't. I know we repaired the hole in the ozone. I know we can do like little things, little tricks, but certain things, I have more sympathy with a writer like Timothy Morton, who says, it already started. This slide, and don't think you can stop it. So what do you do as a human confronting something like that? When somebody says something like that, what do you do? Well, this is what we all need to invent now, is what happens when you look into this light of, like, we don't know what it is. We don't know what's going to happen. We really don't know. We really don't know. And so how can you walk into a situation that you don't know? There's one story that I like, and has to do with a Bible story, and it has to do with a lot of reevaluation of who Moses was. Okay, so Moses was the guy who, like, helped the Jews get out of Egypt when they were slaves. And so in this re-evaluation of the personality of Moses with these new texts that they're kind of reading in a different way, they said, well, actually, Moses was talking to the Jews and saying, you know what, you're slaves, and you have a slave mentality. You don't have a plan. You're not ready to be free. We don't even know where we're going. Where would we be going? Out into the desert? That's not a plan. And I'm not the guy to lead you there. I'm not a leader. I don't know where we're going, and you're not ready, and I can't do it. The thing I love about this story, which is the Exodus story, is they went anyway. That's an astounding story. So, not knowing where they were going, they put all of their energy into doing it. So, this is the one that I always is in my mind. And it has to do with, what you would call blind faith, just like, I'm going to do it anyway, even though I think I know what maybe the outcome is. The fact is, you don't know the outcome, and I don't know the outcome. None of us know where we're going. So what do? Each one of us has to think of the best way to do it. If you're a wirehead, maybe you're going to frantically find out how to freeze ice again. If you're, there are a million ways to think of what to do when you look at something as unprecedented as this, as the melting of our planet. So I am not pretending I know what to do, and I'm not pretending that it's okay, or that somehow it's like not an emergency. This is the biggest emergency we've faced as people on the planet. And so we have to all, it'd be great if we could all come to understand it. And that's the best we can do. And maybe in understanding it, maybe there's a way to do something else with it. But that's it.